All right, welcome back to another game of Play Action Football. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of Play Action Football. This is a tabletop cards and dice football board game that you can purchase at clarkandaddisongaming.com. And we have 3 seasons so far, 2023, 1985, and then 2007. I will be playing the second half here of a game between the New York Jets and the New England Patriots from 1991. 91 will be the next season that comes out for this game. Right now, the game is, 9 plus 7, 16. So 21-16. The Jets over the Patriots at the half. This is from 1991. I don't remember the exact date. It was somewhere in the middle of the year, so maybe October, November. And at this point, each team has, I think the Jets are up to about 150 yards passing. The Patriots are about 135. Each team had over 300 yards passing in the actual game that I saw. And we have some different things going on here. So I'm trying out some new stuff with Play Action Football, just looking at things that we can add that would give the game a little bit more depth while still not requiring a lot more of you or of the dice. So first thing I'm trying is to just go with a single play results chart, and then each team, you can see they would come, cut these, but they would come essentially 4 to a sheet like this. So you would have 4 teams to a sheet as opposed to 1 sheet for each team. And what I'm trying to do is only put, we have all the kicking game values, I guess, here, or ranges. We have the passing, the rush. I've gotten rid of some of the other, I don't know what you would call them, kind of like high level statistics as far as like team field goal percentage and things like that. So we have their pass rush percentage here, which you can use to kind of help you determine is the regular play calling kind of going off of the rails a little bit and they're throwing too much? Do we need to include more running game? And then we also have all of our kicking game. Now there's only a single number here for each kicking play. So extra points, 1 to 19, 20 to 29, etc. Basically, if you roll that number or below, it's good. So that's kind of the new, I've just taken out the 1 to whatever. So that was what it used to be. And the colorful kicking charts have been removed in order to consolidate these cards. You can let me know what you know or what you think in the comments. What we'll do is help me to put more, so sort of condense the cards. It also allows us to use a single chart for all of the different teams. And I'm trying to look and see if a single chart with the offense and defense numbers is enough, because that's what takes the majority of the time. And I know that most people didn't know that, but I would take sort of a league average chart, and then I look at each of the different parts of the team against league average, and then I would sort of manipulate those. So I would make sure that their completion percentage was at or just slightly above what their actual was and things like that. So, and I even went as far as to manipulate these results by a yard or 2 here and there. So if the league average was 11.5 yards per catch, excuse me, I would make sure that it was, and the team averaged 12.3, I would manipulate the actual numbers so as to make sure that you get to that 12.3. So we'll see if that if that sort of removal of the accuracy is going to affect the gameplay. I don't know how it's going to affect everything. But each team still has their offense and defense numbers. You can also see I've added a penalty number for offense and defense. We still have their base defense numbers. We still have all of their rushing, receiving, sacks, and interceptions. So this is your player finder. But now we have every starter on the offense and the defense, and I can show you how we can assign penalties for that if necessary. The chart here works and looks and acts just the same as it always has. It's just a single chart instead of one for each, specifically for each team. And there were some teams where they had the same chart as somebody else, like, quite honestly. They just weren't that much different than league average. Another major part is I have split up the special teams and penalties. So I have the special teams here, which I think everything here you're accustomed to. What I've done is I've made kickoffs a little bit more in line with 1991, just because the average kickoff distance was like 59. Right now it's 62 or something like that. And then I also created a penalty chart. So now we're going to have pre-snap and post-snap penalties. And I'm going to try that in this game. So before it was just kind of you hit a penalty once or twice a game. Maybe 3 or 4 penalties would be a lot in a game. And that's because it, excuse me, it always depended upon this rolling greater than 2 or less than 2 or greater than 20. So now I've crafted a pre-snap penalty. So as soon as we roll our dice, we're going to check against these 2 penalties. So for both teams, it's just a 1. And if the offense has a 1, then we're going to set priority there. And if they don't have a 1, but the defense has a 1, then that's going to be a defensive pre-snap penalty. So I expect more penalties to come into the game, like encroachment or offside or neutral zone or whatever. So I do expect more of those penalties to come into the game, which may give the game just a little bit more realism. And then post-snap penalties will be exactly like they were before, except this time they're set offensive passing and rushing and defensive passing and rushing. So both offense and defense some of the penalties are dependent upon the play, which we'll get a few more different types of penalties into the game as well. So otherwise, the mechanics of penalties work exactly the same. And the first roll is going to be, this is still your play calling, but this first roll here, like this will be a penalty on a pre-snap penalty on the Patriots. And we'll see if that leads to way too many penalties. I'm not exactly sure if it will or not. But, and maybe 2 1s would be offsetting penalties or something like that. But in this case, it would be a penalty on the Patriots, a pre-snap penalty that you would roll for, and then 5 would be an offside penalty. So penalties happen at about a 10% clip, 10 to 20 for most teams. So of total plays. So total plays from scrimmage, about 10 to 20% of plays, at least in 1991, were penalties. So a 1 out of 10 roll it should cover us. Some teams have a 2, like Buffalo. So you can see Buffalo, they had a 2% or a 20% chance of a penalty on offense and defense both. Some teams may have a higher penalty percentage on offense or defense. So I have separated those 2 things out. So that'll be the only thing. So once we get our play, then we'll need to roll for our play result. So don't think it's going to add too much, maybe just 1 more roll. But we're not going to, man. Of course, as soon as I start talking, my nose starts acting up. So we're not adding any more dice. We have all the same dice that we had before. So everything will be the same in that respect. So let's try it in this game. These were the cards without the penalties added. But that was what I was going with before. So that you can see that there on a sheet of paper. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. But it's one single sheet of paper, and you'll have 4 teams. I've actually increased the size here, so the line here comes all the way down to the bottom. Basically, you just cut across, 2 cuts, and you've cut out all the teams. So it should make cutting things pretty easy the way that I've done it. All right, let's go with this one. It is 21-16, New York over New England. New York is going to get the ball. They scored with no time left on the clock. It was a 5-yard touchdown strike from Pete O'Brien, what was his name? Dave O'Brien, I think Dave O'Brien, the quarterback. And he threw that to Altoon. He also has maybe 2 touchdowns to Blair Thomas, I believe. All right, so let's go with the kickoff. And kicking off is going to be New England. And the kickoff is going to be a 9. So a 9 on the kickoff is going to be 58 yards. So they're kicking off here. So that's 60, 59, 58 down to the 50s or to the 7. And then the roll is a 10. So this is going to be a 40-yard return. 10, 20, 30, 40 with a chance for a breakaway. And now we have our breakaway chart here on our special teams chart as well. So our breakaway results are here. If it's a 1 to 4, there's no breakaway. And if it's greater than that, there's a chance to add to our 40. It's a 9, and 40 plus 60 is going to be 100 yards. And just like that, wow. New York takes the opening kickoff. 93 yards for a TD. Wow. All right. Get this party started. So 58. And then 93 for a touchdown. So just like that. Just like that. It's 27 to 19. No. 27-16. And the way we do the extra points, so it's a 99, so anything 1 to 99 is going to be good. 52, so that's going to be 7 quick points, a quick strike in the third. And we'll take 15 seconds off the clock. They're going to be kicking off from the 15. And we have not had too many, actually I can't remember a touchdown, maybe one return for touchdown. So that's a real rarity for me because you got to hit on the 10, which is a breakaway, and then the breakaway has to be hit as well. All right, so the kickoff from the Jets is a 6. 6 is going to be a touchback. Now, also, I went through the kicking game, and there was only a 30% touchback percentage, so I cut back that as well. So you should have a lot more run returns as well. So the Jets with a touchback, they've had a touchback 3 out of 4 kickoffs. All right, so let's test it out now. It's going to be New England on offense. New England is they were 6-10 this year. New York 8-8. So let's get this one started. First, we're looking here at the D10s. There's no penalty on the play, and so this is going to be I'm just realizing I don't have my auto play calling chart, so let me get that. All right, and we're back. So we have our play calling sheet now. This is going to be the 1991 play calling sheet. So I've gone through and changed these results just a little bit to add a little bit more running. So the running is a little bit higher in the 90s than in the 2007 season. So this is going to be a short pass, of course, after I say all that, against a base blitz, and a short against a base blitz. So this is New England going against New York. New York runs a 4-3. So short against a blitz is going to be a 0. New England already has a -1 adjustment. So this is going to be -1 on the play. So 8 on a short pass is going to be incomplete. So that's going to bring up second down and 10. Let's go ahead and run an outside run on this play. Let's see, that's going to be an offensive penalty. So let's see what the penalty is. Like I said, if this gets to be ridiculous and there's too many penalties, then we're going to have to ditch this and try something else. That will be an illegal motion, so that's -5 yards. I'm hoping that it adds a little bit more realism to the game, But if instead it's just ridiculous, then that's why we try things, right? So 2nd down and 15. It's supposed to be 2nd and long, and we have no penalty on the play. 6-5. So this is going to be 2nd and long. That's a medium pass against a dime defense. That's going to be tough sledding for the offense. It's a -2 plus a -1 is -3, which means that it's a 7. 7 on a medium pass is going to be incomplete. So let's call it draw play, 3rd down and deep into their territory. No penalty on the play. Maybe we can just leave that as it is. There's no penalty. So 2-4. It'll be a draw play. 3rd and forever against a nickel might be a good call. That's a +1, so that cancels out the -1 adjustment for each play. So even Steven, 16 on the draw is going to be a D10 +5. So that's 15 yards, and that's 10 and 15. And look at that. On the draw play, they get the 1st down. I think there was 15 seconds I didn't take off. So 15 yards for the 1st down. And that play keeps the drive alive for New England. 1st and 10. And no penalty on the play. It is a short pass against a base defense. That's going to be a -1 with their -1 is -2. 13 -2 is 11. And 11 on a short pass is going to be D6 +2. So that's good for 5 yards. Let's move everything over here. Brings up 2nd and 5 for the Pats. Patriots looking to hang in this one. It's 28-16. So they're down 12, trying to get themselves back into this one. They've got 3 field goals that they kicked in the 2nd quarter. They scored in the 1st quarter. It was a 1-yard touchdown run after a 61-yard pass to Irving Fryer. So that was it was a breakaway pass down the sidelines to Irving Fryer, and that was on their 1st drive. It's what is it? It's 2nd down and 5. No penalty on the play. This is going to be an outside run to a base blitz. So -2 is the adjustment on the play. A 9 on an outside run is good for 2 yards. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 3. They've crossed midfield now. No penalty on the play. This will be a deep pass against a base blitz. So deep against a base is a good call. That's a +2, which means that the Patriots have a +1 advantage. So 12 becomes a 13. 13 on a deep pass is incomplete. Just into the incompletions. And that's going to bring up 4th down. We're going to need to do a coffin corner kick for this one. We do have those still. You can see here we got that. So New England going to try to pin them deep, and 8 is out of bounds at the 8-yard line. So that's where the Jets will take over. So from the 48 to the 8, that's a 40-yard kick. And the Jets take over 1st and 10 at their own 8. Let's do an inside run. So we'll just remove that. No penalty on the play. Inside run against a base defense. New England runs a 3-4. And New York already has a +1. So an inside run is going to be a +2. 16 +2 is 18. And on an inside run, that's D6 +6. So 8 yards on 1st down. I really should be running the ball more, I believe. So I'm going to make a little bit more of a commitment to run the ball here. It's going to be another inside run. Let's see if the Patriots can stop them. No penalty on the play. Second down, this is going to be against a base, so another +2. 18 again, D6 plus 6. And that's good for 11 yards out to the 27. That brings up a first down. You can see that their run to pass to rush is 49% to 51% rushing. So the Jets just need to run the ball a little bit more. Outside run here, we're going to run, and no penalty. So the outside run against a base defense is going to be a 0, but they have a +1 advantage anyway. So 12 on an outside run. D6 plus 2 is good for 4 yards. Takes it out to the 31-yard line, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 6. Let's let the dice decide this one. We have an offensive penalty. So you can see there the D10 is an offensive penalty, so let's re-roll that. A 10 is going to be a false start on the offense. So that's going to set them back 5 yards, back to the 26. It'll still be second down. We don't take any time off the clock with a pre-snap penalty. So 2nd down and 6. Now we have a penalty on the defense. And that's going to be an illegal substitution. So we go right back 5 yards. And hopefully this dance won't happen too much. So 5 and 5. I'm just keeping track of how many penalties. Okay, 2nd down and 6. So we've had a couple of penalties back to back, one on the offense, one on the defense, and now we are settling back in here. This is an outside run against a base defense. It'll be a +1 advantage overall, so 8 on an outside run is going to be good for 1 yard. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 5. No penalty on the play. This is going to be a draw play to a nickel. And that's going to be a +2 advantage to the offense. 14 plus 2 is 16. 16 on the draw play is a D10 plus 5. And that's going to be good for 11 yards out to the 43. And that will be a Jets first down. So the Jets starting to make a little hay here on the ground as they're committing to the run. Through 28 passes, it's not unheard of necessarily. This game they threw something like 45 passes, so not super concerned by that, but did want to kind of rein them back into the running game. A little bit more balanced passing, rushing for the Patriots. I haven't called any plays for them. So no penalty on the play. So what is it? 1st and 10 from their own 43. So the Jets are going to run up inside against the base defense, and that will be a -1. So that evens out their adjustment. So 16 on an inside run is good for 7 yards as they get it out to the 50-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3 for New York. 2nd and 3, this is an inside run against a base defense. Same thing, it's going to be an even roll. An 8 on an inside run is good for 2 yards, and that's going to leave them 1 yard short. It'll be 3rd down and 1 from the other side of the field. So from the Patriots 48, no penalty on the play. 3rd and 1. This is an outside run against a base blitz. So outside against a base blitz is a -1. That means it's even. And a 6 on an outside run is no yards as they try to get the corner and they can't get there. And that's going to bring up 4th down and 1. The Jets are going to go for it. They're already ahead. So what they're going to do is they're going to run the outside play again. The outside run. That's what it was going to be anyway, off of the roll. But we have a defensive penalty. So that could be a killer. And that's going to be an illegal substitution for 5 yards. Oh boy. So some chaos raining, and that will take it down to the 43. That's going to be a 1st and 10 for... That'll be a 1st and 10 for the Jets. So that was a killer penalty. I think each team had 8 or 9 penalties in this game. So take that for what it is. 1st and 10, this is going to be a screen pass against a base defense. That will be a +2 overall. So a 10 on a screen is going to be D6, whatever that is. Good for 5 yards. Takes it out to the 38. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 5. So nice 5-yard gain, as that was the first pass in the second half for the Jets, I mean. All right, 2nd down. This is an outside run against a base. So this will be a +1 advantage. 17 on an outside run is D6 +7. So that's good for 12 yards. And the Jets are starting to eat up ground a little bit here in the 3rd quarter. They are the better team. They were 8-8 in the conference, but they have a 1-1 on offense and defense. So no penalty on the play. 1st down is going to be a short pass against a base. So that's going to be a tougher area. So that's going to lead to a just a 4. 4 on a short pass is going to be a sack. And that's good for -2 yards. So on 1st down, they take a 2-yard loss. 1st sack of the game for New England. Brings up 2nd down and long. 2nd and 12 from the Patriots 28. No penalty on the play. This will be a draw play against a nickel defense. Draw against a nickel is a +1, so that's a +2 overall. A 10 on the draw play is good for 2 yards. So that gets them back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10. No penalty on the play. 3rd and 10. This is going to be a short pass as O'Brien drops back and he's looking at the base 4-3 defense. That makes it even. So a 12 on a short pass is good for 6 yards. That's going to leave them just a little bit short as they get down to the 20. That'll bring up 4th down and 4. Good hold there from the Patriots. And we are at the 20. That's a 37-yard kick. It's a 1-67 to make the field goal here. And it's a 65. Whew, just inside the uprights as the Jets put it in for 3. And that was going to be a 37-yard field goal. That's the first field goal of the game for the Jets. Takes 15 seconds off. Resets us back. The Jets will kick off. And this game is moving right along. A 10 is going to be just 57 yards. So 60, 59, 58, 57, down to the 8. And the return is a 7. 7 on the return is going to be 27 yards plus a D10. So 27 plus 6 is 33. 33 plus 8 is 41, and that's excellent field position. So 33 on the return. So excellent return there. And we take our 15 seconds off. It's going to be New England's football as they come out with really good field position. 1st and 10 from their own 41. No penalty on the play. This is going to be an outside run to a base blitz. Outside run to a base blitz is a -1. To go with their already -1 is -2. A said outside, right? Yeah. So D6 plus 1. So good for a 4-yard gain out to the 45. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The score here is 31-16. It's second down. Let's go ahead and throw a medium pass. I'll just call that out. It was going to be a run. But let's do a medium pass. That's going to be against a base blitz. Medium against a base blitz is a 0. So this will just be a -1. 15 on the medium pass is D10 plus 8. And that's going to be good for 18 yards. So 10, 20, 19, 18. Takes it down to the 37-yard line of the Jets. First down and 10 for the Pats. I like to run in with a selective passing play every once in a while. No penalty on the play. This is going to be a screen pass against a base defense. So that's a good call. That's going to lead to an even no adjustments. So 10 on the screen is going to be just a D6. Yeah, it's good for 3 yards. Takes it down to the 34. 4 minutes left in the quarter. New England trying to stay in this one. No penalty on the play. Second down is an inside run against a base defense. And that's going to be tough sledding there. That's a -2. So 15 minus 2 is 13. On an inside run is D6 plus 3. That's good for 7 yards. And that will take it down to the first down marker. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 run. Or a first down run for New England. Brings up 1st and 10 from the Jets 25. This will be a short pass against a base defense. So it's -2 on the adjustment. So 7 on a short pass is going to be incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10. Let's go ahead and run outside. Actually, let's run a draw play. Let's run a draw play here. No penalty on the play. The draw play against a base defense is going to be a 0. So our -1 applies. And that's going to be a 10. 10 on a draw play is good for 2 yards. Thought I could catch them off guard a little bit, but didn't happen. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. Oh, almost had a defensive penalty. Or an offensive penalty. So no penalty on the play. 3rd and 8. This is going to be a deep ball against a base blitz. So deep against a blitz is a 1. That's going to even things out. So an 18 on a deep ball. Let's see here. That's going to be good for 28 yards. We had 35 to work with, and that's going to be a deep pass for the Patriots. That pass goes to Cook. And that's going to be 6. So 25 yards on the pass. Second touchdown of the game, or first TD of the game, first TD pass of the game. Let's see about the extra point. The Patriots are a 1-91 for an extra point. And this is a 65. That's going to be up and good. And the Patriots put 7 on the board for the first time in the second half. I don't think I took the time off the clock, so I'm going to do that. And the Patriots will kick off from their own 35. Check my time here. And I'll just play out this quarter, and then we'll have to save the rest of it for a different time. So kickoff is, let's just do that again. The kickoff is going to be a 4, and a 4 is 60 yards on the kickoff. So 60 takes it down to the 5. And the return is a 6. 25 yards plus 31. So 26 yards on the return takes it out to the 31. So good field position there. And that will be 15 seconds off the clock. So 1st and 10 for the Jets from their own 31. Decent field position for them. No penalty on the play. This will be a medium pass against a base defense. And that is a -2 to go with the +1 for the offense is a -1. So 8 on a medium pass is going to be incomplete. As O'Brien drops back and can't hit, and that's going to lead to a 2nd down and 10 for the Jets. No penalty on the play. This will be a deep ball, and that's going to come against a base blitz. Let's see if that helps. That's going to make everything even. 15 on a deep ball is going to be a D10 plus 17. So big gain possible here. 26 yards on the gain. 10, 20 plus 6 takes it across midfield and down to the New England 43. So 26 yards and a 1st down. That pass went to Al Toon. Toon having a big day. We have a penalty on the defense. So let's see what that penalty is. It is a neutral zone infraction. So another 5-yard penalty for the defense. And we move this to the 38. It'll be 1st down and 5. No penalty here. This will be an inside run against a base. And that's going to be +2 overall. So 12 on an inside run is good for 5 yards. And that'll pick up the 1st down. 45 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. All right, 1st down. This will be a screen pass to a base blitz. That's a 0, so a +1 overall. 14 on the screen pass is going to be a D6 plus 3. So that's good for an 8-yard pickup. Takes it down to the 25. 15 seconds left in the quarter. 8 yards on the pass. And the Jets are on the move. But this time, in the last drive, they stalled out. No penalty on the play. This is going to be an outside run against a base defense. That will be a +1 overall. So 17 on the outside run is D6 plus 7. Oh, that's a big run. 13 yards as that takes it down to the 12-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, and we'll have to start the 4th quarter that way. So 13-yard pickup on the run. And it's 1st and 10, New York at the pass 12. We had another defensive penalty here. And that will be an encroachment as the defense having a hard time staying onside. And now penalty on the offense. So illegal substitution. So we go back 5, and we're right where we started. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 12. No penalty on this play. It'll be an inside run against a base blitz. And that's going to be a +1 overall. 19 on the inside run is D10 plus 6. That is a 15-yard run. We're at the 12, and that's going to be a 12-yard touchdown run. And that comes from Baxter. Baxter with the 12-yard touchdown scamper. And that will be a touchdown for the Jets. So the Jets are 1-99 to make. It's an 18, and that's going to be another touchdown. So we have 38 to 23. 38-23 is our score as we head into the first part of the 4th quarter. And we're going to leave the game just like that. I'm going to take a picture of this on the way. But you can see that penalties have ticked up just a bit. New England just roll the dice because both teams are a +1. But New England hitting a few of those. One even led to a first down. So that's kind of nice. It's not happening all the time, but it is adding a few more penalties into the game. And then we have some sort of moving penalties if you go less than 2 or greater than 20. We had a breakaway on a kickoff, so we had a kick return for a touchdown. That's a little odd. And so things looking good here. I will continue to test this new sort of system with the penalties. You're still going to have the same offensive adjustments. You can see here, I've just made those adjustments here, but I'm playing without the weather, so I didn't do any weather adjustments for this game, just a demo game. And then a little bit more running on the chart, the auto play calling chart. Of course, you can manipulate, you can make them pass every down and see how that goes, or you can run every down. You can sort of adjust your play calling strategy by either calling all the plays for all the teams. You can call offense and defense. Kind of tough because you know all the to call defense when you know what the offensive play is. But you can do that if you want to. Or you can call some plays and let the play calling call others. Or you can just sit back and let the game happen as the play calling is happening. So the play calling sheet is going to be average to the league. And what the league is at like 53-47 pass to run. So it's a little bit more passing than rushing in 1991. And some teams, like if you're playing the Oilers, they threw it 67% of the time. You know, they're running the run and shoot. So you're going to want to make sure that you get more passing plays in for them if the dice are not giving it to them. But you can see there's a pretty good ratio, pretty good percentage here. We're at 34 passes to 21 for the Jets, so things evening out just a little bit more in the second half. 26 passes to 17 rushes for the Pats. I would need to do the math on those. It's probably a little bit too much for both teams. A lot too much for the Jets, but a little bit too much for the Patriots as well. But when I looked at the game, it wasn't all running for the Jets, and so I feel like it's okay. They did both teams threw for over 300 yards in the game. So I don't really feel bad, like just kind of letting passes happen in this one. But as we get on into the fourth quarter, the next couple of Jets possessions are probably just going to be a lot of running plays that I would have to call. All right, so those are some of the changes that I'm making for this, and I'm really just testing this out. This would make things infinitely easier to create new sets, so it wouldn't take nearly as long to create new seasons if I just have one play calling chart that I could use, and then allow their offensive and defensive I don't know what you call it, advantages, adjustments, allow those to dictate, you know, are they getting more or fewer yards. I've also considered doing an accuracy one. So somehow, if you hit these, then that turns it into a completion. But I don't know how you would do that with yardage and things like that. So just trying to play around, because some teams clearly they have a 4 or 5% better completion percentage, and I don't know if their offense is going to push that up enough. Or if it's just one of those things where it won't really matter going one way or the other. So we'll just have to see. Over time, you only play 16 games, so the sample size isn't huge. You might have a few hundred pass attempts. I don't know, it's like 400, 500 pass attempts a year. So is that going to make a lot of difference based on the teams you play? And yeah, I don't know. So still flirting around with what those things mean. At this point, we have two turnovers. We have a fumble for the Jets, and we have an interception for the Jets. That's kept New England in the game, basically. And we also had a fumble for the Patriots. So we've had 3 turnovers in the game. I think the game itself had something like 4 or 5 turnovers total. So I'd expect a little bit more. But to me, everything is feeling good with the game itself, with this season. And I think the base formulas for the game are right there. They're excellent. But it's just kind of trying to get a little bit more gameplay into it that isn't really an extra roll if you have a penalty. And then if there's no penalty, then you just leave the D10 roll as it is. But if you come up with a 1 on the offense, it'll be a penalty on the offense. If you come up with a 1 on both teams, it'll be just the offense. So I think that the onus should always come on the offense to take the penalty. You could also roll and say 1 to 5 is the offense, 6 to 10 is the defense. You could do anything like that you wanted to, and just do kind of a 50-50. Or I would just default to the offense. That way it cuts down the offense a little bit in the game. And then if it's no penalty on the offense but a 1 on the defense, then you would do the penalty for the defense. And these are 2 different sheets, but I just printed them back to back. And again, these are the pre-snap penalties, and then post-snap, if you go up less than 2 or greater than 20 on the roll in the adjustments, then you would use this based on whether it's a passing or a rushing play. So hopefully that adds a little bit more depth to the game. And every little thing I can do, there's more players here. I told you before, like if I wanted to attribute, let's say I wanted to attribute a penalty to the defense, I've got 11 players here, and basically you would roll, that's a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would give it to Lockhart. So the inside linebacker would get the penalty on the play. If it's some of these are team penalties, like an illegal substitution or too many men on the field. That's a team penalty, so you wouldn't really attribute that to anybody. But it could be delay of game. Delay of game always goes to the quarterback. False starts, it's going to be everybody but the quarterback. So basically a 1 to 10 roll. Illegal motion is going to be basically everybody but the quarterback. And too many men on the field is going to be for a that's sort of a team penalty. Maybe they attribute those to individuals, but I don't think they do. I think that's just a team penalty. Okay, if you like this game, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, just let me know what you want to see. I've completed the teams, but I need to go back and do the penalties for all the teams, so I don't have that. I only have that for the first 4, but that shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes to go through and do that. But all of the players have been added, all of the field goals have been added, the pass rush ratios, all those things have been done for each of the teams for 1991, so that'd be the one coming out soon. I've done the play results chart, I've done the auto play calling chart, and I don't think there's any funky rules that are different. I've adjusted some of the these. Obviously, I have a coach's challenge here that is not there, but you could use it if you wanted to. I have the onside kicks. Kicks and returns have been made a little bit more in line with 1991, but these things over here are just untouched. And then fumbles and interceptions are untouched as well. There's no real like distinctions, I don't think, between returning fumbles in 2023 and 1991. So everything is looking good for the game. It's on target for a release. Just want to make sure that some of these new adjustments are okay. If you want to test with these 4 teams, so Buffalo, Miami, New England, and New York, if you want to test with these teams, just send me an email to clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com, and then you can test out some of these, this new sort of penalty dynamic, and see if that works well for you. if you start to get a few too many penalties, I want to know, like, our team's averaging too many penalties per game. You're not going to get a ton of penalties here, so maybe one or two are going to come from post-snap penalties, which isn't very realistic, but trying to sort of get penalized overall by putting in some of these pre-snap penalties as well. All right. I think that's it from here. If you haven't subscribed, but you keep coming back, click subscribe, and you'll get notifications either to your email or in the app. When you go into the app, it'll put the videos here that I post into your feed, so you won't have to worry or be concerned about, has Brian posted anything for the Clark and Addison Gaming Company? You'll see them right there at the top in your subscriptions feed. It also helps to send a good signal to Google, and anytime we can do that, that's always helpful. We're up to 176 subscribers at this point, which is pretty good for a new channel. But we're always looking for more people to get on board, especially as new seasons are coming out. Got a new up-tempo basketball season for this last 2023-24. So if you're still watching basketball these days, check out Up-Tempo. Up-Tempo is a medium play game. It's play-by-play, but it does cut some corners along the way. So you can get a game in less than an hour, play-by-play with basketball. You're only going to get the top 10 players for each team, and it's very similar to what we have going on here, where you only get so many players to sort of do individual statistics for, but you do get the top 10 players by minutes for each team. And then you can homebrew some things to figure out rebounding and assists and stuff like that. But generally, you're going to be keeping points. You're going to be keeping turnovers if you want to keep turnovers. But mostly just points. And it allows you to play shot by shot with a basketball game. Now you can do it where you shoot for every shot, because I have all the shooting percentages on there, or there are some automatic 2-pointers and automatic 3-pointers that sort of help things along. If you have any questions about it, I have played some games here on the channel for up-tempo basketball, so you can just look those up. And in fact, I played 2 of the 5 games in the 2024 NBA Finals. So, and I played them in 2 different ways. One is quote unquote up-tempo style, which is just sort of looking at the team numbers for their free throw, 2-point and 3-point percentages. And then the other way is by playing with each of the individual players. So that's a different way to play as well, where you look at each individual's shooting percentage and you use their shooting percentages. So it's got a unique system of determining, are you looking at the starter or the backup for each position? And there's a guy, Max's Cards and Dice. If you look that up on YouTube, he is replaying the ABA 1974-75 season with the Nets. So that's a Dr. J led ABA team. I think they won the championship. They were excellent, and they've been excellent in his replay. Dr. J's averaging almost 26 a game, which is right around his average, and it really goes based off of the number of shots taken for free throws, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers. So in a lot of ways, it's not guaranteed that they're gonna score the same amount, but I'm trying to get the ball into the hands of the guys who took the most shots. So you're not going to get a backup who jacks up 12 shots a game. It's just not going to happen because he didn't take that many shots per game. So the guys who took the shots, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, Kobe, like those guys are going to get their shots because it all falls within a range. And if you play out over a season or multiple games, you'll see that even if there's an off game, which does sometimes happen for Michael Jordan, or did, then the other game's going to make up for it. He's gonna get his 33 or whatever it's going to be the next night, even if he only puts in 18 for one game. And then there's a little bit of defense in there as well. So depending on what team you're playing, it can be a tougher matchup defensively for your star players or your best players. So really fun game. Check that out. ClarkandAddisonGaming.com, and on the front page under the new, what do they call it? New releases. There's a little section there called new releases, and you can see the uptempo there under the new releases. You'll also see 2007, which is the latest release for play action football. So until I put this one out, that will be the latest one. That's the Patriots 16-0 season. Should have been 18-0 or 19-0 or whatever it was, but they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. And that's a great season to play. The Patriots are awesome. They're a +3 on offense. They're a -2 on defense. They're just an awesome super team, and tough to beat, but you can take your shots at them and see if you can beat them in a straight up game where maybe you call all the plays against them and see if you can take them out. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll have more at the end of the baseball season. I'll release On Base Baseball. Maybe I'll do one more up-tempo season. I plan to release Precision Baseball before this season is finished. So I finished out a Yankees Red Sox series the other day. So I just need to go back there. Maybe after I finish this, I can begin to focus on Precision Baseball a little bit more and just kind of complete the marketing steps for that. Still need to put together a logo, mark, and just what that's going to look like for that game. I think that's going to be a bigger game for me, and I feel like games are really solidifying. So we're going to wind up with up-tempo, play action football, precision baseball, on-base baseball, and then quick play baseball is sort of finished until we get to the end of a decade. And then I can do another set for the 2020s. And then there's a golf game that's still out there, a college basketball game that I've been working on and tinkering with. I'm always trying to improve basketball because basketball is just kind of hard, and the games that are out there are great. They're great at sort of pulling in different aspects of the game, but can it be better? I'm also working on triple threat basketball, which would be if up-tempo is a medium play game, triple threat is a full play game. It still plays quickly, but definitely is going to take you more in the 1.5 to 2 hour range to play that one, as it's shot by shot and pass by pass and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely a full play game, akin to the way that precision baseball is. It's really breaking down each play. So that I'm working on how to do a full NBA season with that, as opposed to right now it's just the 75 greatest players, which I did mostly by hand. It's kind of easy, but when you start talking about doing 400 NBA players, it gets a little bit daunting as far as like how to pull in those stats and how to do those different things to make those cards, because the cards are very colorful and they look beautiful, but doing 75 is not the same as 400 or 450. So it's just quite a bit more work if I were to do all the player photos and that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, or if they'll just come out as the little square cards. And then maybe I'll attach the tall ones and just give you the blanks, so that if you wanted to add in player photos, or maybe just player photos for the starters or something like that you want, that you'd be able to do that. I have the instructions inside the manual about what size the photos need to be cropped to, and then how you can bring those into the game using any image editing software where you can open a PDF. So it could be Acrobat Reader, where you add images to the PDF, or some guys are using just sort of MS Paint kind of stuff, or you could go full Photoshop and bring those things in that way as well. I like to use Adobe XD for work, and so I would probably just open it up with XD and then put those photos in and using that program as well. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do and how you want to bring those photos in as to what you use. But the process is pretty easy. It's actually not very difficult. And over at Rod's Tabletop Hoops, the Facebook group, he did a video. Well, I guess if you look it up on his YouTube channel, he did a video about triple threat basketball when it first came out, and he showed this is how I input the player photos in there. And I think he was just using a basic Microsoft program that you would get off of the computer. I think he was using Acrobat Reader or something like that, but he was using a stamp tool or some interesting tool that wasn't obvious, but it took the player and it put it right on to the card, and then you just resize it. So it makes for a terrific looking game. I'm not planning on changing the cards necessarily, but I just have to get all of the statistics, the formulas for the statistics, because I was just doing them all mostly by hand. So I need to automate that process a little bit and then be able to go back and adjust the cards as necessary. So a little bit of work on my part to kind of figure out how I can do a whole season and make that work. And there might be some adjustments necessary on the game engine chart as well, just because it's going to be maybe to create a little bit more precision in the game. So I'll be looking for that sometime in the future, and always kind of dinking around and working on something. And I've got seasons to create for some of these. I need to make another on-base season that's not the most modern season, and so just trying to fill in those back seasons for on-base. And it just takes a little bit of work, a few days, to put those together. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear any of your thoughts that you have on the games, any questions that you have. If you want to try a demo of Play Action Football, I'll put the link to the collection of seasons and the free demo, which you can find at clarkandaddisongaming.com. And you can go right to that page. On that page is a free demo. You can download the demo. It comes with the last 4 teams from 2023. So, was it Detroit? I don't remember. It was the NFC and the AFC championship teams. So you get the last 4 from last year. And then you get all the charts for the modern era for the 2023. You're going to get sort of the old style card, so it won't have the penalties and things like that on it. But you'll be able to try the game. And these are like brand new editions. This would be the first season that had anything like that. So don't feel like you're missing out on something if you play the demo. You're playing what everybody else has played up to this point. So just get used to the mechanics of the game. Do you like the game? Does it have good flow? Does it have everything you need? And is it the kind of football game that you're looking for? So this is going to be more along the lines of Quick Decks football, about that type of pace. So you can play a whole game in less than 2 hours generally. Usually it's about 20 to 25 minutes per quarter for me. And that's keeping, pretty detailed stats. So I'm keeping track of all the individual passes. I'm keeping track of all the kicking stats, and using timeouts and all the different things that we do. You don't need to do substitutions because the substitutions are sort of figured into the game. But if you did want to roll on each play to see who did what, and you had a sheet that had all of your players who played in the game, then you can easily just put that in there and figure out, okay, that 5-yard run was attributed to Steve or Russell or Stevens or Vaughn or whatever, Blair Thomas. So whoever it was, you can attribute those individual rushing and receiving yards. Obviously on passing, your total yards are going to be for the quarterback. So unless you switch quarterbacks, that's going to be your quarterback in the game. And and then receiving yards you can dole out between the different players. You can include sacks. There was a sack in the game, but I didn't figure out who made the sack. There are interceptions in the game that I didn't figure out. Who made the interception. There was a fumble. You could roll against your defense and see who was the forced fumble, or who fumbled the ball, who picked up the ball. Like, you can do all those things because you have the players all right here with you. It won't have backup players necessarily for that kind of thing, but you will have the starters you could attribute those things to. Just a little bit of more depth to the game to try to give you a little bit more immersive experience into the NFL while still not bogging you down with a bunch of calculations and things in your head. It's all like simple add 2, add -1. And some of these things just become second nature. Truly, after a whole game, a lot of things you start to figure out and come a lot quicker in the game. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.